Afternoon, good morning. Morning.
Coach, your impressions on the rookies on day one?
Mentally, they had a lot of recall from June, so that was important. I think everybody's got to get used to the heat first day out with the helmets on, so it'll take a day or two to get acclimated to that. But I thought they were sharp mentally.
Anybody stand out to you today?
Not today. Just happy everybody knew what they were doing mentally.
What are the goals of today on day one?
Have a lot of recall from the spring, obviously, get acclimated to the heat and communication. That was the biggest thing we were going for. I think we got that today. I think the tempo will pick up the heat. We have a cool bench out there to get some of the heat off some of the guys. Once they get acclimated to the heat in the next 2 days, I think they'll be okay.
As far as coming back from injury, mobility-wise, how did Shaq Barrett look?
He looked fine. I mean, he looked good. He ran around good. It's the first day. We'll see as time goes on, but I think he's in good shape.
What did you see from Ryan Jensen out there today?
He moved around. He moved around pretty good, so we're just going to keep working with him and hope he keeps progressing.
Is it one of those things, too, where it's like, all right, you're going to need to assess how he feels tomorrow after however much he did today?
It's all going to be how he feels and how we can better help him going forward.
This second year, are there any changes to your overall practice philosophy? Shorter practices, more going indoors occasionally?
Well, we're kind of, our time is kind of given to us by the league, so we know how long we have to be out there, and it's a ramp-up period right now. So we have some tweaks here and there going indoors as far as what we do in practice and how we do it in practice, so those will come about.
Get to talk to Devin a little bit, Todd? Talk to Devin White a little bit.
Yeah, he's good. He's in a great mindset. He's in great shape. He had a good day.
What was your assessment of the quarterback play today?
I don't have an assessment right now. It's just the recall from both of them mentally were very sharp. Just getting acclimated to the system again, so that'll play itself out as we go.
Coach, Keyshawn Vaughn is someone that Dave Canales has talked a lot about. What's your assessment of Keyshawn at this stage?
I always thought Keyshawn was a tough runner. I thought he was a talented player. Obviously, we had guys where he couldn't get a shot, and I'm looking forward to see what he does this summer with more playing time. But I like the player.
Like today, Baker took the early reps. Will you continue to just kind of go day to day with that in terms of who goes up first?
Yeah, we talk about it as a staff, and we'll see how we go with it, and we'll switch off as we need to switch off. But it'll be the same amount of reps in the end.
Looking forward to the fans coming out this weekend. Todd, does it give it a different energy level?
I am. It was a little quiet today. They can help with the fatigue as well with the heat. So with some people out here watching, I think it'll ramp up practice a little bit.
Do you prefer the fans out there overall, or it's just different?
It's training camp. The fans are supposed to be out here.
Greg Gaines, how would you assess his spring and just everything you've seen from him?
Hard worker, very smart player. Obviously, he's very tough, a lot quicker than we initially thought. He's got some position flex, and I think that's positive. But Greg has been great since he came in the door. He's been outstanding.
Thoughts on just how kind of the offense is running in terms of recall and just kind of how everything's kind of come together on that front?
I thought mentally they came together. Everything was sharper. We had everybody out there healthy. Everybody came back sharper, and I think the communication was great. So we just have to build from there.
I know you said during the offseason you didn't want to get into specifics on Russell Gage's injury. Are you able now to disclose what type of injury it is?
No, it's a lower extremity injury. I mean, it's a leg injury, but he'll be fine. I mean, we're counting on him. He'll be back, and he's working to get back.
Todd, getting the quarterbacks to a different launching point, which I think is part of this camp between you and Canales. From a defensive standpoint, how much harder does that make a defense when you're not sure where the quarterback's comfort level is?
I mean, we have a good idea of what most quarterbacks in this league, what they do and where their comfort level is. And, we're not game planning, but as we game plan, we kind of know who's going to be where, and we adjust accordingly. Launch point to us doesn't mean much. It's just what sections they like to throw the ball in. Everybody has their favorite spots, and no matter what the coverage is and no matter what the routes are, that spot ends up getting a lot of usage. So game plan wise, you look at that, but we're not game planning right now. It's just to see where they're comfortable at. Ultimately, we want to put them in the best launching point that makes them more comfortable. Now, Baker's left and Kyle's right or Kyle's the middle. Eventually, we'll get to that. But, right now we're just working on everybody doing the same thing.
When we talked to you yesterday, you had not addressed the team. What was your message to them when you started this training camp?
Obviously, the camaraderie, the culture, and the chemistry. You can't have one without the other. You know, we're building the camaraderie right now. We think we have a good culture and it's growing more, and that creates better chemistry. So when we get that together in training camp, we think we have some very good players, and we learn how to play smart situational football, we'll be fine.
With the nickel position being wide open, was there anything you saw today that stood out as a positive?
Again, just sharp mentally. You know, as the plays and the playbook comes in on both sides and the installs go in, we'll see who makes all the adjustments and who makes plays in pads. And, you know, it's different playing in T-shirt and shorts than it is in pads, and you got to have recall every day. We'll see who's mentally tough and makes plays.
I asked you about kind of the difference in the leadership styles between Kyle and Baker, and I also asked Jason as well, and kind of one thing you guys talked about was, you know, the fact that Kyle, his leadership style is a little bit different, right? Like, it's more of a quiet confidence about him. Does a quarterback need to be that kind of rah-rah, in-your-face type of a guy, or can he lead from a kind of more of a quieter place the way Trask does?
Not all the time. I mean, leadership on offense can come from the O-line, the receivers, or the running back. The quarterback, naturally, because he's a signal caller and talks a lot and tells everybody what to do, has to have some type of leadership skills, and Kyle has that as well as Baker. Kyle's very vocal when he needs to be. I mean, he comes across as quiet, but he's very loud on the field. He's very confident in what he's doing, and we like the way he leads it, and we like the way Baker leads it.
Yesterday, Jason said that Joe Tryon-Shoyinka has to step it up this season. What do you want to see from him in order to, for lack of better term, step it up?
You know, for me, Joe has to finish at the top of the rush. He beats linemen, and he either slips down or falls off the quarterback because he's launching too early and not running through the quarterback. He has to take those extra 2 steps. You know, he left a lot of sacks out there last year. Not that he didn't get back there, but he didn't finish the play. Finishing at the top of the rush is just as important as beating the guy initially off the line of scrimmage. And, you know, me and Joe have talked about this, and he understands that, and he's working towards that, and that's what we need to see from him.
Along those same lines with the 2 rookies, Yaya Diaby and Jose Ramirez, I know it's tough to evaluate guys defensively, but just kind of what have you seen from those guys? And
Well, for college tape, you see Ramirez. He's a heck of a pass rusher, and that's really his specialty, what he can do. Yaya he's an outside linebacker, but he has the strength of a defensive lineman. So he's a very good edge setter, and he can really come off the ball, and he's a really powerful guy in the speed to power rush, and we look to see both of them execute those things as we go in camp.
saying that he could kind of be interchangeable.
No, I just said he has the strength of a D lineman. I didn't say he was a D lineman. Now, Coach Rogers might want to put him down there, but he's an outside backer, and you know, before we get in the game plan, I just said he's as strong as a defensive lineman.
Good versatility's always good with you. I know that.
Always.
I know there's no pads on yet, but Elijah was pretty disruptive today. What have you thought about him so far in camp? Only day 1 now.
I think he's a heck of a ball player, but like you said, there's no pads on today. You gotta, you know, the lineman can't grab and we can't hit and everything like that. But he's working, and you can see he's gonna be a special player.
Coach, do you see it as a competition between Joe and Anthony Nelson?
Competition with all of them. You know, you compete. You know, nothing's given to you out here. You better earn your spot.
What's the ceiling for this secondary, Todd, especially with the addition of Ryan Neal? And how important could Ryan Neal be in this entire defense?
Ryan's huge from a communication standpoint. Since he walked in the door, him and Winfield, they've developed a great bond in the spring, especially from a disguise standpoint. He's a very good communicator. He wants to learn the game from everyone's eyes, from the coach's eyes and the player's eyes, and see everything. And his leadership and his communication out there has been invaluable. Knock on wood, if they stay healthy, I think the communication and the chemistry is coming along pretty good. I think those guys have a chance to be good.
As a former player, and I know you played a different position, but the NFL recently, multiple star running backs met up for a Zoom call to talk about, you know, kind of the state of their position in terms of what they feel is lack of pay. And, you know, I know one of the common themes of that conversation was, you know, it seems like the more production they have, the more they feel like they're devalued. Just kind of as a head coach, your thoughts on that, and, you know, if more should be done, if we're not valuing the position enough from a pay standpoint?
I don't know if I have a position. There's really nothing I can say or do about that. You know, you feel for people, and, you know, I don't really have an answer to that. You know, it may be, and then other people feel they may be devalued or valued. So you gotta kind of play it out as it goes, and I think each team is different, and you go accordingly. I can't answer that for the whole thing. I think I'll be the president of an NFLPA or the league, or if I can answer that.
Do you feel though like the running back position is valued today the way it was 10 years ago?
10 years ago, the money wasn't where it was, so obviously it's valued a lot more. I mean, you had more 25, 30-plus carry backs back then. I mean, I think the days of Peyton and Emmitt Smith and all those guys, there's not many that carry it 20 to 30 times, but they catch the ball more. You know, they do a lot more things, and they're a lot faster, and the offenses are different. So, I mean, it's like every other position, you know. One jumps every couple of years and one goes down. So I'm sure it'll fluctuate and change.
Play out there and just let the boys where, Otten is just wide open. You have all this run action in this offense. Is that going to create, some guys that get free like that?
Hopefully, hopefully it does that. And if we're running the ball enough and we're getting some yards that way, hopefully it creates some of those type of situations.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.